Good evening, folks. Yes, it's that time of week again. It's time for the Monday Weekend Wrap-Up, episode 21. Yes, it's 7-11. I hope you got a free Slurpee. 7 plus 11 is 19. There's 4 of us today on the show. 2 fingers. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 19 plus 2 is 21. And that's exactly what we have for you. Episode 21 is today. Oh, that's the wrong one. Anyways, let's take a look at who our guests are today. Let's welcome in everyone. We have with us, joining us from Vancouver, Canada, we have Mr. Milothe1st. Welcome in, Milo.
Good evening.
How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing good. Doing all right. And also coming in from Columbus, Ohio, we have Mr. HoffSpur. Hoff, how you doing?
Good. I'm just doing some math that you gave us at the beginning.
Okay, yeah. oh yeah, it is. Oh, I messed up the math. Okay. Anyways, and Highly, welcome in, Highly. Also joining us from Canada, the largest border in the world, the U.S.-Canada border. How you doing, Highly?
I'm doing all right. How are you, Kurt?
Doing good. Let's take a look at our topics for tonight. Let's get right into it. We're going to be taking a look at Mr. Cristiano Ronaldo. A lot of rumors going on around this, Could it happen? What's going to happen? These mega stars, what should happen with them? We'll be looking at some done deals. It is the summer. We have rumors, as always. We're going to take a look at a special look at 90s football versus now. And, we might be able to generalize it to any time period of football to now. We can, we'll make some cases and then just have a little discussion about that. That'll be kind of the meat and potatoes of the show tonight. As always, we have our open panel. We can talk a little eFootball. We can talk gaming. We can talk anything. We can talk anything in that section there. Then we have our fun game sections, as always. We have how many teams can you name? And also the interactive quiz. Before we begin, the interactive quiz last week, Highly, you forgot to give me some pictures. So Stefan had a couple extra weeks, which is pretty nice. It's pretty nice for him. So maybe that was a gift. And then we'll chat with the guests about their weeks, maybe a couple quotes, and if we have any extra time after, we'll chat about whatever we fancy. But let's talk about some people's most favorite player of all time. It says in my notes here, the producers wrote a note for me here. It says possibly the greatest fully natural footballer of all times is rumored to be looking for a move away from Old Trafford. Highly, what are your thoughts on Cristiano Ronaldo and a possible move away from Old Trafford?
Well, I went on a rant on Twitter, as I have a tendency to do, as you boys know all too well by now. I went on a little rant, and I was saying, I don't know why people are mad at Cristiano Ronaldo for wanting to leave. I mean, the guy is arguably the greatest goal scorer of all time, arguably. Emphasis on arguably. And all he does is win. All he knows how to do is win. And he's at the tail end of his career. Let the man go wherever he wants. Let him win. He's not going to be of much use to Manchester United anymore, I think, right? He's done his duty. He's come back and he's wowed everybody. Just let him go wherever he wants to go. Let him, enjoy a different challenge, play in a different country. I have absolutely no issues with it, and it's not like a cynical approach. It's just, I think he's earned the right to, go play wherever he damn well pleases.
Well said. I agree with you there as well. How much he could help United is it's kind of a team need right now. So he would help United quite a bit. But Milo, what are your thoughts on Ronaldo?
I'll take nothing away from the player and what he's achieved. But I think, he's 37 years old now. You're getting the name. You're not getting the player if you pick up Ronaldo. So for me, Yes, can he still do a job? Can he still score goals? I mean, he showed last season he can do that. We all know he's at the tail end of his career. For sure, go wherever you want. But I think a team looking to build a title-winning side should not be looking at CR7. If you have a title-winning side and you're just looking for another name to slot in the lineup or bring on at 37 years old, he'd be a phenomenal player for that. And I think that, yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic career, but I'm already moved on. Like, what's next? You know, like both for Messi and Ronaldo. Like, we're approaching the end, so I just think we should get there so we can just stop talking about them.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if you already have like kind of a set squad, throw him on the team, put some more fans in the seats, you know, get a little media hype, all that stuff, marketing. Hoff, what are your thoughts on possible move for Ronaldo?
I think it makes sense. As soon as it was confirmed that Man United wasn't finishing top 4, I think it was always likely. It was like, whether he said it or not, I think, yeah, I mean, he wants to play in the Champions League. I can't blame him. I mean, everyone does. And there's just from the other side of the coin, if I'm Eric Ten Hag, do I want to keep this guy around if I want to truly build something with his fingerprints on it? Like, yes, he, like Milo said, he'll score goals. He still can contribute, but I don't know if his presence hurts the project.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Ronaldo, he seems like, I don't know how coachable he is now, right? He's at that stage of his career where he is what he is, and he's kind of like a delicacy or something, you know. Yeah, we can just kind of open it up. I mean, I found tons of photoshopped pictures of him in Milan shirts and LA Galaxy shirts, Manchester City shirts. If you were to put him on any team, if you had to think about any team that could use him, maybe, like, he seems like the guy who still wants to start, though, right? He wants to start every game. He's getting ready for the World Cup with Portugal. He's gonna demand that he plays. You know, if there's any team that he could probably hop into, what would you think would be a good one for him? Highly, you have any idea? Any
Sure.
thoughts?
I really like what Milo said about maybe him not being a starter. Like, despite the fact that he probably would want to be, I think. So Milo made a really good point about, like, if you already have like a championship team, like a team that has a tendency to win all the time, and the first team that comes to my mind is Bayern Munich, right? Like,
Yeah.
Lewandowski might leave. I think maybe Ronaldo would be a good fit over there, because then he's not like the main attraction, so to speak, right? So that's what I think. I think like a team like Bayern Munich would be a good fit for him because he hasn't won in Germany. So
Yeah, I think that would be great to see him in Germany. It would be great. I also think maybe a move back to Sporting at some point, but he says he wants to play for 2 or 3 more years. Milo, would you consider taking him at Arsenal in any? No. Okay.
I mean, it would be completely against what we've got going on there. We had one of the youngest squads in the league last year. We're building something, trying to build something. Whether or not it's a success, we're going to find out in the next sort of 3 to 5 years.
If you were forced to put him somewhere.
If I was forced to put him somewhere,
Not in Arsenal.
you mean?
Not in Arsenal. Not in
Okay.
Arsenal. Just if you were, if he was like, you're Ronaldo's agent. He says, I want to move no matter what the cost. I'll move for a penny on a week. Where would you put him?
Him now, I think he should go back to Sporting. There's been a lot of talk about him going back to Sporting. I think that would be a really nice way to finish up the European career. He could still show up in the MLS at 40 years old and probably be the best player there. So, I mean, yeah, if I was him, I think that would be my next move. But it wouldn't surprise me if he appeared at PSG or Bayern Munich. or Milan, but also, I mean, Ten Hag today supposedly said he's not for sale, and as far as I know, he'll be back with us for preseason after the tour. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, I don't know.
Hoff, any thoughts on where you might like to see his career go, or how you might want to see his career go?
I mean, the Chelsea links make sense to me, just because they don't have a goal scorer, a consistent guy that's going to score 15, 20, 25 goals. 25 is probably too many, but at least 15 goals. I was talking to a friend earlier, like, who's going to score Chelsea's goals this year? Is it going to be Havertz? Is it going to be Mount?
Sterling?
Havertz and Werner.
Yeah,
That's
Havertz.
Sterling.
I think Sterling he'll get 5 goals in 3 games, and then he'll score 2 goals in the next 10.
Yeah,
Maybe. Let's catch up with a bit of chat here. Bottle Jobs, welcome in. He says the third top scorer of the Premier League in a shit United team. That's a good point. You know, it's third top goal scorer still. Ronaldo says, I won a challenge, experienced the challenge, and now he wants to leave the club. Was that just a dig at United? I can't tell. Okay. Let's see. Liverpool. Maybe he goes to Liverpool, so he makes their team worse all around. Spoken like a City fan. Ronaldo would destroy Arsenal's philosophy and weight structure. Yep. Ronaldo would destroy any modern team's philosophy and weight structure. Yeah, Ronaldo's on like 510 1,000 pounds a week or something. Anyhow, all right, let's move on to some done deals from the last 2 weeks. It's quite a few. Some more obscure ones I just kind of noted down, and maybe you guys can tell us your thoughts on one or two of your favorite moves. I had Luka Jovic to Fiorentina. We had Steven Bergwijn from Spurs to Ajax. Julian Alvarez, who was it was technically signed in January, but he has made his move to Manchester City. We had Hickey from Torino, I believe. It was Bologna. Bologna to Brentford. Pogba completed his move to Juventus. Tyler Adams and Brendan Aronson made their moves to Leeds. Weghorst left Burnley. He's gone to Besiktas. Origi to Milan. And one I didn't know. I just saw this. Naif Aguerd from Rennes to West Ham. He's a Moroccan international. He's something like almost 40 million euros. It's pretty high for a guy. I mean, I never heard of him. He's a center back, so that's got to be interesting as well. And we also had some pretty big ones, Phillips and all these guys to big clubs and things. Milo, what are your favorite moves? Your best moves of this transfer market so far?
For me, I do want to laugh about Pogba. Apparently today said, I can't wait to win trophies. That was his opening line at Juve, which I thought was pretty funny. And then obviously Gabriel Jesus. I mean, it's for me, for personal reasons, but I just think it's a really astute signing, and I love how everyone is sleeping on Arsenal, and I feel like if we strengthen from last year, like, there's a couple of teams that should be concerned about that.
Yeah, Arsenal's got some nice signings. There's some, speaking of done deals, well, maybe we go to Rumorville for that one.
We'll get to the room. I've definitely got some Arsenal-related rumors that I want to talk about for sure.
Hoff, any deals on your mind?
I really like Haller to Dortmund.
Yeah.
I'm not a Dortmund fan by any means. I know I talked about him last show. I just really like the business that they've done this window. They've got a few frees, and they just got Haller. So yeah, I really like what they've done, and hopefully they can force Bayern to win the league in like April instead of March, or just give more of a challenge. Yeah, I really like that move for them.
Yeah.
And there was Cucho Hernandez for the Columbus Crew, who scored the winner in the 3-2 comeback over the Chicago Fire. on Saturday. I forget, Saturday or Sunday, over the weekend.
Okay, nice. Little MLS guys, we got it all here. Jesus Pereira also scored a late winner as well for FC Dallas. He's men's national team starting striker, I think. Anyways, Highly, any moves you wanna highlight?
Yeah, first of all, Milo, just so you know, I actually really like Arsenal. I've actually watched them for a very, very, very long time, and I'm not counting them out. I think Jesus is a nice little addition to the team, and you know, I never have an issue rooting for Arsenal unless they're playing Manchester United, to be honest with you. I do like Sterling to Chelsea, honestly, because we like to rip on the guy as much as possible, right? But if you look at his stats, he had a really good career with Manchester City. Like if you look at his goals and assists and contributions and whatnot, like really he had a very, very good career at Manchester City. I think the problem is that he doesn't show up in big games, and that's, I think, maybe what people might have an issue with when it comes to Sterling. It's that lack of consistency that Hoff alluded to earlier, but also maybe a controversial move. Controversial call, but I really like Pogba back in Juventus. That was where he really cut his teeth, right? That is really where he made a name for himself with his long passing, and I think it's a good fit, and I hope that there's a resurgence because, you know, he's an absolute delight to watch. He's such a talented and skilled footballer. The problem is, like I've always said, like I've said it ad nauseum, he's just not fit for English soccer. So I'm happy to see Pogba at Juventus. I'm happy to see Sterling at Chelsea. I mean, he makes perfect sense in the Premier League.
Absolutely. Yeah, Pogba's. We'll see. You know, I'm curious to see what role he fills with, because he played kind of like a number 10 when he was there. It'll be interesting to see if they give him that type of freedom. The number 10 shirt is obviously free now because Dybala has moved on, or he's left. And also the addition of Di Maria at Juventus, as Dovlik is pointing out. Interesting moves. Juventus quietly done some nice moves, though the departure of De Ligt might slow them down a little bit at the back. I'm not really sure who they have coming in for him. Calvin Phillips to Manchester City. Pep adding another defensive mid, probably in that Fernandinho role. We talked a little bit about it last show. Do you think this is a good move for Man City, or do you think it's a good move for England? Right, he's a starter for England as well. Is he gonna get the necessary game time? Milo, what do you think? You think it's?
I hope so. I hope they haven't bought him to just be a squad player. I can never tell with Pep because, you know, they're a team that had Jesus and then played many games without a centre forward last season. Like it's just, I can't tell with Pep if who his guy is going to be. But he also is a bit of a creature of habit. So if Phillips does get into his team, he's probably got a good chance of staying there. If the results are going the right way, and we will need that if he's going to be playing for England, obviously. I quite like him as a player. I mean, who's he up against in the England squad? Really?
Of his type, I mean, think there's much.
He's pretty unique, right? Like,
yeah.
Size-wise, mobility-wise, I quite like him. I was very impressed with him in the last in the Euros, in the last tournament there. So it's all on Pep, really. It's going to be one of those. Like, I don't know how to call that. Extreme might know.
In the back of my mind, I feel. Okay, this is just like an inkling now. This is maybe Rumorville, but I feel like he could be a Rodri replacement. I feel like Rodri is the perfect replacement for Sergio Busquets. Busquets announced that he's going to be retiring next summer. I wonder if he's coming in to kind of, you know, slowly bed into the City system, maybe for a season and a half, you know, 3/4 through, you know, and then slowly settle into that role. And then City would be smart to probably do some good business and maybe sell Rodri. I imagine Rodri wants to play for Barca or Madrid. I don't know. What do you think, Hoff? Any thoughts about that?
I think that's a good shout. Actually, I saw
It's a thought.
was it Beast or no Symphony said that Calvin could dislodge him.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think he has the ceiling to do it. I don't think he's there yet. But I think he has a little more to his game. Just not they're pretty similar. But I think maybe a year or two under Pep learning it, I think he could, but like you said, Rodri could be gone before then.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You got to think what areas do, because with the financial, this is kind of another discussion, I guess now, but whatever. With the finances being so tight now in football, slowly getting tighter and tighter, you got to think that teams will kind of bolster they'll want to bolster where they're weakest, but at the same time it's tough to change a whole system. So you bring in a Calvin Phillips, you cash in on Rodri, and then you fill a wing. I feel like the wings are going to be a weak area for City in the future. But I don't know. These are just thoughts. Any other rumors you guys want to talk about? Or not rumors, done deals. Highly, anything else? You just kind of talk for a little bit here.
Yeah, it's okay. I saw somebody mentioned Malacia.
Oh,
I don't know how to pronounce his name. Yeah, I'm curious about your thoughts on that.
I know nothing about him.
Yeah, me too. Somebody said no thoughts. I said, well, he smiles a lot, right? Like that's that's what we've seen so far on Twitter. Every single picture, he's just like, he's like the most smiley dude out there. But I don't know anything about him either, to be completely honest. But I mean, is Luke Shaw cutting it? I think, that's up to debate, right?
I mean, I think Telles was linked with Roma last season at some point. Like he was linked with a couple of moves. I think Chelsea was in for Shaw at some point. Those are rumors as well. So I don't know exactly what the Malacia move is. Maybe he's cover for other youth that's going to go out on loan or something. Like a Brandon Williams or something. I'm not sure. Maybe he just has he'll be a good trainer, like a Ashley Young. He'll train. He trains well, and he'll be someone that the first team plays against. That's something I think about a lot. How
do you feel like he's immediately made the team better?
No, I don't.
Yeah, me neither.
I think it's a familiarity thing for Ten Hag. Dutch, and he probably trained. I'm imagining he trains well or something. There's got to be some personality, attitude things going on that is just gonna help Ten Hag settle in a little better. Yeah. Any other thoughts, guys? Anything you wanna? You just head into the rumors now. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm ready for the rumor. The rumor mill's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, let's go with the rumors. I think I overwrote my rumors. Anyways, United have tons of rumors going around. Conte, Antony, all being linked to United. I think also Arsenal. Rafinha today apparently got done to Barcelona. I mean, it's still technically a rumor since we don't know. Any rumors you guys that pop into mind, Hoff?
I guess it's still a rumor at this point. Jed Spence is one that I've been hoping got done, because it seems like they're moving quickly on things, but they just can't get this deal done, which, having watched Paratici work for a couple windows now, he will, or not him per se, but we will be linked, like he's a right back. We'll be linked with 5 right backs and from pretty credible sources. And I get the sense that that's what he does. He casts a wide net and then he kind of like hones in on the one guy because it might be a good deal for the club or the one player that the manager truly wants. So it's kind of interesting. I don't know if he's like a smokescreen for someone else, but I don't know. I just would like to get a right back in.
Jets fans, do you know how old he is, by any chance?
21, I think.
Okay, yeah, pretty young.
He's young.
Yeah. Milo, Arsenal rumors. Kante, I think you mentioned last night in your stream.
I did, yes. So Kante's been linked with us. I mean, I see some people like saying he had a poor season by his standards. I mean, I would love to have him in the team. I think it'd be really, really good. But I find that one very unlikely. What I think is more likely is the fact that Lucas Torreira is back with the team currently. Fiorentina are desperate to get that deal done permanently. He doesn't particularly enjoy England or North London, so that one concerns me a little on that score. But I really like Torreira. I don't have an issue with him. I think he did a really good job for us. I was kind of bummed when he went out on loan. So yeah. I wouldn't be too upset if he fought his way back into the team. Obviously, we don't know what's happening. It's a bit of a question mark with Thomas Partey. We won't go into details because it is just an allegation by not even anybody at this point. No one has said a thing. His agent came out and said that it's just he's got nothing to do with it. So we'll see what happens there. And then rumors that we made an offer for Benfica's left back Alex Grimaldo.
Grimaldo.
30 minutes Kieran Tierney lasted in that preseason game, so the rumors are it's like because of his injury history, yada yada yada. I'm not so sure about that one. I'd say I was quick to play it down, but I guess you would if you were him. I hope Tierney gets a run of fitness because I think when he's fit, he's one of the best left backs in the Premier League. So, yeah.
Now we're reading in chat, Partey is back in training.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one. It's an interesting. I mean, I don't really pay attention too much to social media as far around this stuff, but it sounds like people are being kind of respectful, almost. I don't know. I don't really see it in the news very much or anything. I don't know.
Of Thomas Partey?
Yeah, of you know, the whole situation.
I mean, I don't think so. I saw plenty of negative stuff, but I think you have to ignore that because it literally was a rumor that it was him. It's not. No one came out and said it was Thomas Partey.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like there was no official. There's not been an arrest made. If there was an arrest made, then if they charged him, they would tell you his name. Until that point, it would be an alleged sexual assault, right? So,
right.
I mean, it's happened to far bigger players than Thomas Partey. It happened to Ronaldo, right? Like he's been through it. And I mean, I think I said to you guys last night, like if he's innocent, then great. If he's guilty, if it was him, then obviously throw the book at him and we'll never speak of him again. But I mean, we're not at that point. So if he's available, I want him in the team because he's a good player.
Highly, any rumors caught your eye?
Yeah, there was a rumor, I think right before Raheem Sterling signed with Chelsea, there was a rumor that both Neymar and Cristiano Ronaldo might be headed to Chelsea, and I thought that would have been incredible to watch. So obviously, I think Neymar's going to Chelsea. I would be very okay with Cristiano Ronaldo going to Chelsea. I mean, I'm not sure if it was Hoff or Milo who mentioned it earlier, but truth of the matter is it's not Werner who's going to be scoring goals for Chelsea on the regular, right? He's not going to net 20, 25 goals and be that world-class player. I mean no offense to him, of course. I just don't think he's a world-class player. So yeah, I think Ronaldo to Chelsea could be an interesting one. I know I mentioned Bayern Munich earlier, but yeah, I think it would be a good fit for Chelsea. In terms of rumors, I mean, I'm kind of like fed up of hearing Frankie de Jong's name, right? Like, what is happening? Who?
I don't know who that is.
Well said.
Some B-lister.
Yeah, it started to become a bit of a joke. And with regards to Conte to Manchester United, I don't think personality-wise he's fit for Manchester United. I find that Manchester United players have a tendency to be a little more on the arrogant side, whereas players, no, I mean it. Like Bruno, for example, like. Whereas at Arsenal, they have a tendency to be a little more reserved through my observations. And Conte's a very reserved guy. He's as humble as they get. So I don't think Conte to Manchester United would be good. I mean, from a skills point of view, from the fact that he's all over the pitch and he'll intercept everything and tackle everyone and just, really be that guy. Okay, fine. But then he'll get exhausted. Because I don't think he'd be well surrounded enough to really fit within Manchester United. Sad to say, just so we're clear. But yeah, those are the rumors that kind of caught my eye.
Yeah. Conte is an interesting one. He's like, when is he gonna hit that wall? Like when is he gonna? I feel like I saw him play a couple times for Chelsea this last season, and he seems still quite productive. He seems pretty much like Conte that I remember for the last couple years. But yeah, I mean, I'd gladly take him if I had to start him or McTominay. Who would I pick?
No brainer.
I'd probably go with Conte right now. Yeah. Any thoughts on that, Hoff, or on any other rumors?
I would just like Conte to leave England. I love watching him.
Okay.
he's just a thorn in Spurs side. But yeah, I would. I mean, that for completely selfish reasons. Another rumor that I had read, I think it was earlier today, it might have been yesterday, with Barcelona trying to get Lewandowski.
Oh yeah.
They're trying to find like a stopgap, and they had mentioned Ronaldo or Kane because Kane's contract expires next summer, and he hasn't signed a new contract yet. So that's a possibility, I guess. Yeah. I don't have a lot to say about it.
Apparently, Barca made like a 50 million euro fixed offer for Lewandowski to join him. We can talk a little bit about Barca now. Barca apparently signed Rafinha. They haven't registered Kessie or Christensen. Apparently, Dembele has resigned. I read a little bit about their financial situation, and it's pretty interesting. It's all about the wage right now in Spain, right? If they're below the wage cap, they're like 150 million euros below it right now or something. And every pound or euro they make on transfers when they're under the wage cap, they can spend 25 cents of it on other transfers. But if they can get their wage differential to positive or zero from negative 150 million, then they can spend on a 1-to-1 ratio, which is interesting. So I don't really know what happens if they can't pay the salary, but I know I heard rumors of contracts where the player doesn't get paid until the following year. But yeah, I don't know if you guys read anything about the Barcelona situation. If you guys want to comment on that at all, feel free to.
How are they broke?
So they're broke. So they're not broke, but the contracts of their players are in the negative. So they can technically pay it. It's just they can't. It's a La Liga rule. It's you can't have a negative. Like they could pay the wages if they could just move money from like other revenue sources into wages. But because of the structure of their revenue and the percentage of that revenue, that a percentage of the revenue has to pay for the wages, and that balance is off. I think they just made really bad signings and signed poor contracts in the past.
Okay.
It began with Messi, right? Messi set the precedent for. Yeah, Messi was the first one, right? Messi signed a crazy deal, and then any supporting cast for Messi got near Messi money. So they carried all of that, and right, they sold Neymar and they bought Griezmann and Coutinho, and they gave him massive wages, and that didn't really work out, and then they were just playing catch up from that point on. That's my understanding of it, and La Liga has really weird rules about it as well. But now they have all these economic levers where they're selling their merchandise, they're selling TV rights and things like that. So they're able to make these signings, but like for example, they're able to make these bids for Lewandowski and Rafinha. I just don't really know how they're going to pay them, which makes me think that they have to get rid of they have to get rid of Frenkie de Jong. They might have to get rid of who knows who else they'll have to get rid of. Honestly, I don't understand that part of it. I don't know who else they can get rid of and pay Christensen, Kessie, Rafinha, Lewandowski, but yeah. I don't know if anybody.
They must make a lot of money in merchandising as a team. I don't know where they rank worldwide, but it's got to be fairly high.
I think in revenue they're top 3 or 4.
Yeah. So I mean they're going to be making. If they sign those players, they'll certainly make, Lewandowski shirts will probably fly off the shelf.
Right.
Yeah. I think so. You're going to get some back. I mean, who knows what the ins and outs of it are.
Yeah. Yeah, because there were some deferred payments and COVID and all that stuff. All that good stuff.
Can they register those, De Jong, sorry, Kessie, Christensen, Rafinha, can they register those guys for Europe?
I don't think they can.
It's just a La Liga rule, or is it?
The BLM, the Barcelona merchandising thing. They sold the rights of La Liga, so they still have all their Champions League rights. But I don't think they can't register the players yet because their wage structure
At all. Okay.
There's something up with the wages. I don't have a complete understanding of it, but they gotta sell somebody, and Frenkie de Jong has got to be one. Like, I mean, he's on one of the highest wages there. Maybe Jordi Alba or Piqué or something. I don't know.
Okay, all right. You've twisted my arm. We'll go buy Frankie. We could do with the midfielder. It's fine.
I mean, yeah. I always thought Ten Hag would have been a nice fit at Arsenal. You guys have like Arsenal or Ajax kits a little bit,
We have some good Dutch history too.
Yeah.
My boy Dennis, Mark Overmars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. If let's just go hypothetical land in the rumorville. If Partey, things didn't work out with Partey, who would be your ideal replacement, or who would be your ideal midfield man? Who would you like?
I don't know. If I could bring a player, any mid, I'd want a Premier League ready player, so I'd probably go Kante.
Okay.
At the moment, just at the moment.
Kante would be nice.
Yeah.
Ali, who do you think would fit in well at Arsenal? And Hoff,
yeah, I mean,
whoever.
I don't want to just ride, Milo's coattails here, but I did mention Kante earlier. I think he would be a phenomenal fit there. But instead of Partey, now just so I'm clear, Partey is more of a defensive midfielder, right? Like from what I recall. Yeah.
He takes wild shots though.
Yeah.
He takes some wild shots, man. Ndidi, I'm seeing Ndidi in chat. I'm seeing Jude Bellingham in chat. I feel like Jude Bellingham is a Klopp player.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
He's a Klopp player.
All the time we have Granit Xhaka on the books, we have to have a more defensive centre midfielder alongside him because Xhaka plays some lovely passes. I do think he's underrated. I don't hate him like some Arsenal fans do. No names mentioned, Cash. But like, it's defensively, Xhaka can be a bit of a liability. Misplaced passes, like small, short passes. I want him further up the field spreading the ball about a little bit. You know, that's where if we're keeping Xhaka, he can do that, and but we have to have somebody more defensive minded alongside him.
Gotcha. Yeah. Any final thoughts? Hoff? We can...
Trying to think of who I would put in that midfield.
I mean, it's...
I wouldn't sabotage. I mean, I would sabotage it if it was in real life, but since we're playing in fantasy land, Martinez. I think that's a good shout. And Ndidi's. Ndidi is. I think he's it's not exactly the same, but I think he's the heir apparent to the Conte, the best at Conte's role whenever Conte starts to decline. I really like Ndidi. I like watching him play.
He's solid.
Hey, there was a rumor that Ake might be signing with Chelsea.
Yes.
Have you guys heard that one?
Yes, yes.
To replace Rudiger?
I think, they need center back. I think they only have one center back on the books right now.
Yeah,
Chelsea.
Thiago Silva,
yeah. I think Trevor Chalobah, I'm not exactly sure what's happening with him, but Thiago Silva is the only established one they got right now. But yeah, Ake to Chelsea seems like it's going to happen. Alrighty, well, let's keep it moving. We can get back to some rumors maybe at the end of the show or during the open panel. Let's talk about 90s football compared to today, right? A lot of talk about 90s football being the golden age, late 90s of football, and now things are totally different. I had to obviously do research. I wasn't alive. Well, I was alive, but I wasn't watching football day in, day out in the 90s. So I did do some research, and I got some talking points. But first, let's just start off with kind of a open discussion about this. 90s football or football of today? What are you guys' thoughts? Let's start off with Milo.
The 90s.
I put a couple of Dennis picks in here for you.
I just have fond memories, man. Like, it's just obviously in the early 90s, we had Arsenal won the league in like 89, right? And then we had 2 cup wins in the early 90s. But apart from that, we were a fairly average team until 97, 98. And obviously we won the double that year. That was Wenger's first full season. So the 90s was great for me from a fan's perspective, because I kind of, I was growing up then. I was a kid in the 80s. Like, I was born in the 80s, and as I grew up, Arsenal kind of got better and better and better. So the 90s culminated in this fantastic team, which was just a joy to watch. It was with Anelka and Petit and all those guys. So yeah, anyway, the point being, Wright and Bergkamp playing together, it was brilliant. I loved it. It was absolutely superb. But away from that, Serie A was just so good. The only thing is, I worry about how much of it was fixed. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of match fixing in Italy in the 90s. So how much of what I was watching was staged or rigged or fixed, I have no idea. All I know is I used to watch it at the weekend with my granddad, as well as First Division football, Premier League football. We loved Serie A, and the players in Serie A at the time were just unbelievable, man. Like, you could literally bring up the squads. I mean, I love it, because I do that. I haven't done it on eFootball because we can't yet. There's no edit mode. I will at some point pick up my Legends League. That's majority 90s players is who I put in those teams. And man, that's the era I love the most, man. Football was physical. The goals were great. Crowds were drunk. It was awesome.
Alrighty, Hoff, any thoughts on it?
I feel like I was still fairly young. I don't remember all of that decade very well. Because the first real memory I have is like watching the 94 World Cup, and seeing like these Brazilian guys and Baggio. It was, yeah, I know he's not Brazilian, but those blue with the hair. But I feel like there was, and it may not have been the case, just the feeling I get, there's a purity about it back then. And I know that's probably not the right word. It's the best word I could think of. Because now in today's game, like, you know, everything about every player, about like all the contracts and everything. I feel like, well, I have another point about that when we start comparing, but I think that the 90s, I'll look back fondly on the 90s because that's where when I started watching. It's just not the same to me now that I'm watching it more consistently. It's more readily available here to me consistently. Or in the 90s, it was not. Like, you have to look in newspapers and you'd have to find the right newspaper for some scores. Yeah. So it was a little bit of a challenge growing up in the US, trying to access some of the different leagues and stuff as well.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think in the U.S. they had little, like, just little small sections in the newspaper. That's what we would get over here. Yeah. Hiley, any thoughts on comparing the football of today and the 90s?
Yeah, definitely. Milo, I think that's, I just want to say, I think that's really cool that you watched a lot of Serie A in the 90s. I did too, actually. Juventus, man, like with my dad, not my grandfather, but with my dad. So I can definitely relate to that. When you said that, my eyes lit up, you know?
I had a number 9 Alan Boxic Juventus shirt. Like back then. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you. Carry on.
No, please. It's all good. Yeah, I feel like, and I don't know, you know, I was a kid in the 90s, right? I feel like it was, first of all, more aggressive, right? Like, I felt like maybe players were beating each other up a lot more. Like, it was a much more aggressive style of football versus, like, you know, a lot more of that kind of finesse, speed, you know, just move the ball forward. And, you know, I feel like obviously the game has evolved. And what are the things, and I stand to be corrected, but I feel like there were a lot more, and I don't know if it's just because of YouTube and highlights or whatever, but what was it about, like, players scoring these insane shots from a distance, these insane goals from a distance? I feel like that happened a lot more frequently in the 90s than it did in the early 2000s and, you know, 2010s and stuff like that. So from my observations, from my memory, of course, the 90s were more aggressive. It was like a lot more like violent, let's say, or tougher. Let's call it tougher, right? And I don't know, maybe it's my memory is failing me, but I just remember like a lot more screamers from a distance. Those are my thoughts.
Okay. Interesting. So I wrote down a couple points, and maybe we could talk about them, of reasons why we feel 90s was better football. Because I think that's a kind of a general feeling you get from a lot of football fans, right? Of our age, maybe, and older, or slightly younger, maybe. First off, I mean, I think one thing we could compare is the actual skills of the players, right? The finesse, the mental strength, or the mentality, the tactical, the physicality, and you know, sports science was introduced, right, by Arsene Wenger in the later 90s or mid 90s. So these are all things that have all, you know, I think the sports science aspect of things has just gone crazy now, right? You know, everyone has asthma at Liverpool, etc. You know, and then that's like the the big one. Anyways, also I think that there were more like Zidanes and Pirlos and Ronaldinhos because the bar was lower. And to speak to your point about long shots, maybe the defenses were weaker across the board. You know, maybe the bar of skill was just lower, and as you know, more the game became more popular, more people started, I don't know, these players, individual brilliance was able to stand out at the time, when all the teams weren't, the baseline wasn't that great, and you had these, Zidanes, Pirlos, Batistutas, these Ronaldos, that would just pop up ahead of the rest, which were so good. I think just on the topic of actual footballing skills, tactics were a little different, and I think you guys mentioned modern football is more of a team sport. If we could just talk a little bit about the actual skill of players and how, like, for example, like if you took a Messi and you took him back to the 90s, how would he fit in? If you took I don't know, Romario, and you brought him up to now, how would he fit in, type of thing. Anybody want to, any thoughts come to mind when we talk about actual skill of players and the level of teams across the board? For example, like the Premier League, 5-6 teams now competing. In 99, maybe there was 1 or 2 competing. Generally across the board, you see a little higher level of play. Anybody want to kind of?
I mean, I definitely I see where you're going with that. I think the generational talents though are still the generational talents. If you took Messi and put him in the 90s, I think he'd still be phenomenal. I don't he could dance around players, and he'd even be more effective because the fitness levels might not be quite so high and all the rest of it, right? So to that end, I think the generational talents, and for that I will include Zidane and Ronaldinho and Pirlo and all of the names that you mentioned. The one I would use as the prime example would be Dennis Bergkamp. You guys know he's my favorite player. I've never seen since or before or since or at the time another player that could control the ball in any situation with the precision that he could. I've never seen anybody be able to do it. And there's no Bergkamp.
He's saying,
but I'm saying
Zidane.
Do I think Zidane? Well, Zidane had other skills that Dennis didn't have as well.
Okay,
but I'm just saying that I think Dennis had a first touch that hardly anybody had. I don't want to get into comparing Bergkamp and Zidane. That's not what I mean. I'm just looking at like that generational talent. I think prime Dennis Bergkamp could play now and do very, very well by those threaded through balls. Like I say, you could take those players and drop them anywhere. And I just think we're in a lull right now where we just don't have the next real standout. That's how I feel about it.
Anyone else want to speak about the skill level of teams and individuals, how they compare now to then?
Sure. I think Milo makes some good points. I don't know if I entirely agree about Bergkamp, but we'll take that offline, Milo. But I will say this. I will say this. Cart, you made a really good point about. You mentioned Arsene Wenger, and honestly, like that guy, I don't know, maybe because like towards the end of his career, his managerial career, he was kind of like, people were like, okay, it's enough. Like, come on, man, it's time to go, right? But he really revolutionized the sport. And I think people don't give enough credit to the fact that I think he was, and now Milo will probably have to correct me on this, but in the 90s, he was the one who revolutionized possession, right? And fitness overall. Wenger? Yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, he came in 96, 97 towards the tail end, and I would say realistically, it's into the 2000s before his methodology was firmly, But yeah.
But I agree with Milo when it comes to someone like Messi. The thing about someone like Messi is it doesn't matter what generation you put him in, like he will always be that good because he's not. It's so hard to describe. Like when you watch Messi and you watch like just go watch his highlights. Worst case, you know, like he's from another planet. It's like what he does is absolutely magical, and it's not like he's doing like you know, Rabonas and rainbow flicks and whatnot. It's just his touch. It's like the ball is like a magnet to his foot. So regardless of what generation or what era he would have played in, I think he would have been okay. Someone like Ronaldo as well, because Ronaldo, you know, he liked to dribble and he had really good footwork, but at the same time, his whole thing was that he was a potent goal scorer, right? Someone like Neymar, I don't think he would have fit, you know, in the 90s. I think he would have.
Maybe.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Yeah. Okay, I have to say it, you know, and I'm sorry it has to be me that has to say it, but Messi would not be Messi in the 90s.
Why not?
Because sports science and medical professionals would not be able to, possibly would not be able to give him the amount of steroids necessary for him to be who he is now, because he took steroids. All right, let's move on. Let's move on from that. But yeah, Ronaldo and these guys, I think they would. I do think just to speak to Milo's point, I think these guys like Dennis Bergkamp, this style of player, because of how physical teams are, have been, this style of play just, they don't allow it. The game doesn't allow it as much anymore. You're
going off Dennis's eFootball and FIFA balance and strength levels, which I'm sorry to say are woefully inaccurate.
No, I'm just saying, just players of his style, even as Zidane, even like you know, these players. I mean, maybe we have they're coming. You know, hopefully they're coming. I hope, but I think the overall level of defenses is so much higher than it was in the 90s that these paintbrush players like Neymar, for example, who's gone to France and we don't really see much of him. You know, Kevin De Bruyne, if you want to call him some sort of guy, he's a bit more physical, long ball. He's not like a close, you know, this style of player just I just don't think it's as easy to be a Dennis Bergkamp as it is now. Like we said, these individual brilliance is just kind of stamped out by today's game, unless you're like crazy pace, you know, like Mbappe, or, you know, how many paintbrush players do we know of these days? Maybe Pedri's coming through, hopefully. I don't know. I feel like there's an element of it, right? I'm not saying Dennis wouldn't do well now. I'm just saying, you know, his style of player, right? And that's what we're talking about. It's the style of players that we saw in the 90s and the style of play that we saw in the 90s. We don't see that anymore for some reason. And I think it's because the overall level of everyone has become higher.
But I mean, they evolve with the game, right? I don't think. I don't think, like, if Dennis Bergkamp was 20 now, but still with the talent that he had, he would evolve with today's game and be whatever he's going to be, and he probably would still be a level above. We will never know.
We'll never know. Yeah, we'll never know.
But like, he played in a front two with Ian Wright, right, when he came to Arsenal. So it was those two in a 4-4-2. That's Arsenal were famous back four midfield, two up front. That was it. We won things with that team. And then once we started to evolve into Wenger's philosophy, Dennis dropped back into that SS/AMF role. And then you had Henry ahead of him, maybe Wiltord, you know what I mean? Like, and so on and so forth. So like,
right.
I think he evolved as the team, and I think a player of that talent level. I mean, I don't want to focus purely on Dennis. This is not the Dennis Bergkamp segment. I just use him as an example because I actually think that some of what he does is very subtle. Very subtle. Like Henry's an explosive in-your-face player that I could have used, who I also think would thrive today. But you know, like it's just it's one of those things.
Yeah, I'm not saying he wouldn't be Dennis. I'm just saying this players of his style, you just don't see it very much. Like a Zidane, a Riquelme, these type of. I'm not saying Dennis is on their. You know, Dennis is obviously much better than all of those guys. I'm just saying, you know, like I'm joking a little bit there, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not trying to say that Dennis wouldn't be good now. I'm just saying that the style, like the style of the 90s allowed Dennis to be Dennis. The style of the 2000s and 2010s might not allow a Dennis to be that Dennis we remember, which is kind of the whole discussion. Is like,
but don't you think that with his passing, like his touch and his passing and his awareness and vision, he couldn't release one of these fast, speedy players you're talking about?
He could.
He 100%
He could.
Like his key was unlocking defenses. I think a player like him could do that now.
His potential back then would be the same it is now. He'd obviously be probably much more fit. I'm sure he was still fit then. I'm sure he would still have his touch and everything. I'm just saying, like, the game, like, who, for example, in the Premier League, who's making those nice, like, maybe Bruno every, like, once in 10 touches, or like once in 100 touches, he does something crazy that you're like, oh wow, amazing. Or like these guys that like imagine Bruno, like, okay, I'm not trying to say Bruno's amazing. I'm just saying, like, who's doing these creative things in the Premier League? Like,
there's a reason there's a song, there's only one Dennis Bergkamp.
I'm not
Mic drop.
Yeah, I'm not.
Car, I 100% agree with you. By the way, and yeah, you're spot on. Like, you use the key words here in the Premier League.
Right.
That individual kind of showboaty, deft touch, kind of, Pogba-esque way of playing.
Yeah, we all love it.
But it doesn't work in the Premier League. You'll get run over if you try that in the Prem, right? But
yeah.
Other competitions allow for it because it's a slower pace. There isn't maybe as much, I don't want to say skill, because obviously it takes a lot of individual skills to be able to do that. But so someone like Pogba, for instance, he plays a very old, let's call it old school style of football, right? He likes to hold on to the ball. I always joke, he likes to get cute with it, that's why it didn't work in the Premier League. Whereas in Italy, it'll work. In France, it could definitely work as well, and maybe even in Spain, but not in the Premier League. So someone like Pogba could definitely fit back then as much as he fits in now, I think, if he could avoid the tackles in the 90s.
Absolutely. Want to get to Hoff. Hoff, you mentioned something. You spoke about how now we have almost like 100, 24/7 surveillance on our favorite players. You kind of mentioned something like that in the beginning. And that's another point I had written down, is the role of media compared to the 90s and now is, in the 90s, these players would pop up with a little highlight here and there, and you'd kind of fall in love with that highlight or that game. Now we have Messi and Ronaldo in HD since 2005 or 6 or whatever, and we have it all on YouTube. No popcorn quality, HD highlights of them. Does the access to, and sorry, I know I didn't really let you speak on the previous point as well, so you could touch that too. But the access to players now, do you think that plays a role? Just like we hate, quote unquote, our I guess we're all technically boomers. I don't know. Yeah. Don't clip that. Don't clip that. I don't know.
Okay.
Our generation, we're not very, like, I mean, maybe some of us are. Social media and stuff like that, we can't. I personally a little cringy, but now that we see players on social media and Lewandowski doing TikToks, we don't really hold them in the same esteem that we hold Batistuta or something, because Batistuta never did TikToks, Anyways, but just the role of media, and you can also touch on the skill part. I'm sorry I didn't give you a chance to speak about that, Hoff.
No, it's okay. I think just to go back to the skill part real quick, I saw on the rotating, and he's up right now, is the picture of Gaza.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to watch him in the Prem right now, just to see
Phil
if I don't know if he would be effective or not, but I think it would be fun to watch. And I was trying to think, you were saying, like, who's that, like, classic number? You didn't say classic number 10, but that's
in chat. They said, yeah.
Yeah. The last the last one I can really think of that I watched a lot, and it's not too long ago, was Rafa van der Vaart.
Okay, yeah.
And he did okay, but I think that might have been at the tail end of that, because that was still under Harry Redknapp, and he's like, just go do something. That was the extent of his tactical instruction. So I think that's why that's why Van der Vaart was so successful, because he wasn't like constrained by, oh, this is what you do if you get the ball here, this is what you do. Like, no, just get the ball and you figure it out. Like, you don't have all of these external things. So that's like a player like Bergkamp, like Gaza, Riquelme, Zidane, like these players that have the even I would say, not in a number 10 sense, but like Iniesta, Xavi, that have this like brilliance about them, that know when to, I guess, deviate from the plan.
Right.
I think those players are what's the word? Can be transported, I guess, across generations, and have some semblance of success. It might look different, like maybe Bergkamp would score more goals in today's game. I don't know. Instead of all the assisting goals, I don't know.
They'd adapt.
But I think
they'd adapt.
Yeah. Thank you. That's it.
Yeah.
Adapt. As far as media goes,
Yeah, this is the kind of the second talk. Maybe Milo and Highly can think about this as well. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
it's crazy to me. Like, I don't need to know why, and I guess I lump social media in with media. I probably shouldn't, but I do. I don't need to know, like, I don't need to see a commercial with Leo Messi eating Lay's potato chips, because I know that he's probably never put one of those in his mouth in his entire life. I don't
Right.
need that. Like, it kind of,
Do you think it takes away
kind of
from the
cheapens
magic?
it.
Yeah, do you think
Yeah.
it takes away from the kind
I don't
of,
need
you
to
know?
see him on a commercial unless it's like him playing and it's like a highlight, but I don't know.
Right.
I understand it's for money for them.
Right.
That's great. Use your platform to get as much money as you can. I have no problem with that. But I just feel like it kind of cheapens the greatness. Like, why is Lewandowski doing TikToks or dance? It's a cool dance move. I wish I could do it, but I also wish I could score 50 goals in a calendar year. Like,
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, I struggle with it, because I'll sit and look at my phone at transfer rumors for too long of a period of time, like every day. But
Right.
I also I think I know we talked about it previously, the party stuff. It's so dumb.
Right.
Like, everyone wants to break the news. Like, oh, it's Thomas Partey. Oh, it's Tom. He's 29 years old. Blah, blah, blah. Like, who cares? Like, why are you not concerned with the person or that is the alleged victim?
Schadenfreude.
Like, everyone wants to, like,
What was it called?
they want to assign blame. Like, you guys have that guy on your team. He's a rapist. Like, no, why? That gets into
Schadenfreude.
tribalism with another thing that I'm not going to rant about. But yeah, sorry. Go ahead, guys.
Schadenfreude. What is Schadenfreude?
Schadenfreude?
Isn't that like you're happy when someone else loses or something?
Yeah, taking delight in the.
That's why I was
pain of
interested in
others.
finding out who this 29-year-old from North London was.
Yeah.
anyways. Yeah, any Milo, any thoughts about what we're talking about?
Yeah, for the media side of it, I actually
Kind of the rarity
noted a
of, yeah.
Yeah, I noted a couple of things down when Hoff first mentioned that, because in case you circled back on this.
Yeah.
Do you know, pre-internet, when I wanted to know about a player, particularly worldwide, we had two sources, basically. One was magazines. So we had Match and we had Shoot. And they were both amazing magazines. I don't know if they're still going. Maybe someone that lives in England in chat can comment on that. But they would do a special interview with, I don't know, Zamorano. I'll just throw that out there. And you'll learn about where he was from and how he grew up and where he played in his youth. That's how you would learn about these players from magazines. Then also Merlin sticker books. I think they're made by someone else now, but they were called, they were by Merlin when I was a kid. And they had sticker books that you would complete, and you would trade the cards with other people at school because I need Dinamo Zagreb's number 11. I don't have him, and you would trade for someone that you did have if you had like multiples of certain cards. So that was another way of learning a lot about teams, particularly in the World Cup and stuff like that. It was big, man, and so that was it really. And it was the same for us though, for American sports. I love basketball, I love hockey. I had to watch Transworld Sports was a program that aired once a week. It did highlights of them all. The only thing that was on regularly was the Chicago Bulls because of Michael Jordan.
Right.
And that's just, you know what I mean? So it's very similar from you guys in North America trying to see that back in the day. And then once the internet was early, you could listen to internet radio. I actually started listening to NHL games. I'd listen to the radio commentary on the internet.
Oh, nice.
That was pretty neat, but obviously I couldn't watch the game. I had to envisage it, but I used to listen to a lot of football on the radio too. So
nice. Do you think listening through those media sources changed? Do you think the accessibility of football news and football content now changes your value on the players you see on the pitch, just like on any given Sunday type of thing?
I'd say you know me better than the other guests here, although I'm getting to know these guys a lot more now. You know me when it comes to social media and that side of it. I try to ignore it as best I can. I try not to let it get to me, but it does my head in, man. Like I can't. I try really, really hard to not listen.
But that kind of speaks to my point. If imagine you saw Dennis Bergkamp or the next Dennis Bergkamp constantly on social media, and what you just said about social media, don't you think you would have a different perspective on that Dennis Bergkamp? Let's not call him Dennis Bergkamp. Let's call him Donny Van de Beek, because he is the heir to no. For example, like if you look at Donny Van de Beek every day on social media, and he's, you know what I mean, like you don't get the same warm fuzzies maybe.
I think I preferred it though. I'm going to be honest, right? When we signed Dennis Bergkamp, game changer for me. The only reason I loved him is because of seeing him play for Holland in the televised international games, seeing the odd highlights for him at Inter Milan and Ajax, and like I picked him up on Sensible Soccer.
Right.
Like that's like I loved him on Sensible Soccer, and then we signed him, and just those snippets that I'd seen, I was so excited from that. Now I could go out there, and if Arsenal are linked with this player, I can go out and watch 18 highlight videos, one showing him as amazing, one showing him as mediocre, one showing him as terrible, all before I've had a swig of my beer. Like it's, you know what I mean? Like I think I prefer the older way a little bit.
And I feel like
because there was more excitement for me.
Absolutely. Highly, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think players nowadays have to be, and I think, broadly speaking, all athletes and anybody that's in the limelight really has to have a really thick skin. You have to be as resilient as possible. You have to be exceptionally mentally tough, because everything you do is under a microscope, and it's so easy to doctor things, right? Like that's to Milo's point. Like you have highlights of somebody, scoring bangers, and then, them at a club, taking shots of Grey Goose or something, and hitting someone in the face. Like I can't think of any names, but I'm obviously exaggerating slightly in my statements. But it's in a sense, it's a way for people to kind of get closer, right, to these players, to feel like there's more of like a bond to these players, which also removes the aura of, let's call it like mystery, right? Like where there's when you don't have access to these players, you probably appreciate them and dare I say admire them a lot more, right? You have a little bit more of that kind of fandom to it. I think so. Listen, I think social media is toxic. I'm going to be completely honest. I think it's a necessary evil depending on what you're trying to do. So, and when I say social media, I think of like Twitter, obviously Instagram, TikTok, and all that kind of stuff. And I think also that kind of ties into the media as well. Why? Because, and it ties into communications tools, like means of communications, like, you know, our smartphones. It allows us to communicate like with anybody through text messages, through WhatsApps, through Messenger, through Discord, through Snapchat, through like 1,000 different avenues, and that makes for a little bit more like toxicity. We saw it with Manchester United, for instance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody was leaking information constantly to the press, and that is not. It's way easier to do that. It's way easier to just pull up your phone and snap a picture of somebody doing something that they shouldn't be doing, and it can cause a scandal. So I think it's, you know, to Milo's point, I know I went a little all over the place, but
No, you're fine.
to Milo's point, I feel like it's more, you know, the old way was the right way, in my opinion.
Well, okay, that kind of leads into my final point, which we've all kind of spoke about, and I think it's the main talking point that we're all. I mean, the underlying talking point is just pure nostalgia. You know, I think nostalgia plays a big role. You know, we look back on things from our childhood, our past. You know, that were good memories, and we kind of favor them. You know, and I think it's just a human nature. I think nostalgia is a very normal thing. And I do think that plays a little role why we feel. I do. Whenever I see clips of '90s football, I do enjoy it. I didn't grow up with it, so I do see the plot holes in there. Like it's the pace of the game is so much slower. I guess that was Serie A as well. I mean, Serie A now is quite slow as well. But so I don't really have that nostalgia. So this is an interesting talking point I saw, and an interesting quote I saw was, "I promise you, there won't be another guy that plays like Messi, and you will miss him bad in the future. Oh, remember the Messi days? That guy used to do unbelievable things." Right? This could be a lot of us in 30 years, where this Messi who and then maybe who knows? I don't know. Now like I kind of mentioned, we have HD quality video of him now. You know, looking back on what Messi did, maybe, you know, since Messi's probably inspired so many players, maybe there'll be more players that strive to be like a Messi, play like him, and we'll see more of these style players. I don't know. That was just an interesting thought. I never really thought about it because right now we have Ronaldo and Messi. Last 20 years, it's just been all of them. And I mean, I think we've all been kind of speaking from a point of a little bit of nostalgia, and nostalgia's been kind of a point we've been talking about. But that was my last point. We kind of touched on it a lot. If anyone has anything else to add, we can kind of roll into the open panel here as well. But yeah, yeah.
I'm curious how many people, and I don't know. I'm just thinking about what you just said. I'm curious how many Brazilians or Argentinians said the same things watching Pele and Maradona, and then seeing Ronaldo and Messi come along from their same nations, probably the two closest players to those two before. It's interesting to see, like, oh, we'll never see someone like that, and then someone like Fenomeno comes along and is maybe not a carbon copy of Pele, but one of the best Brazilian players since Pele. And that's a big gap in between, I know. But and the same with like Messi and Maradona. You have Crespo in there, but he's not like Maradona.
I'll just pull something from chat. I was just kind of reading through. Bottle Jobs says Di Stefano would be the best player in the world no matter what year you put him in. So kind of speaking to how you're speaking about Pele and stuff. Sorry, keep going. Anyway,
it's a difficult one going back that far, and I think that's why, like you said, it's the era that you grew up in. Maybe that is the reason it's fondest for me. I don't. It's not that I hate football now. I love it.
Yeah, for sure.
I just, from me, I think the players, for whatever reason, whether it's your reason or not, there were more players that stood out, and there were still players above that level. I think that is true today, but it's just, I do think we're in a little bit of a lull for that like generational talent, but who knows?
Right.
Well, the argument could be made that, you know, Mbappe is kind of like a generational talent. I don't necessarily agree. Like, I think he's incredible. I mean, you win the World Cup as the star of that France team and everything. I can see him being a generational talent. I'd like to see him do a little bit more in the Premier League and things like that. But I think you're right. And you know, Cart, you said something really interesting earlier. You said, somebody said, you know, we have to appreciate Messi while he's here. Well, it's the same thing with Ronaldo. Even though they have been, you know, like you said, what, for 20 years now, roughly, they've been stealing the spotlight. It's true. We don't know that we're going to see players like that again. Maybe there will be better ones, maybe not. But for now, we have to appreciate them while they're around, for sure.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I think that was a nice talking point. Interesting topic. You know, it's an interesting topic, right?
You should end this with a Vinnie Jones video tribute, though. To be honest. Like just to hammer the 90s on.
Yeah. I mean, guys, I just scrolled through chat and there's some great points. A lot of great points. I can't touch all of them, but you know, I think one of the things, kind of, I think Cash mentioned it, is the classic number 10, and Hoff mentioned as well, that classic number 10 role has been kind of stamped out of football, which is kind of sad, you know. And I think that's one of the things that made 90s football so appealing and made stars look like stars and stuff, you know. We have a couple more minutes of the open panel. I do want to get into the games for tonight. We could try to change gears here real quick. I mean, I mentioned it in your stream, I think, Milo. Or no, maybe it was my stream. I can't remember. The next MLS Pro, you know, by the way, Romeo Beckham scored an amazing free kick for Orlando, Miami recently. But in that league, the youth, you know, the youth division of MLS, they have new red card rules and time wasting rules. So the new time wasting combatant rule is, if a player is suspected to have an injury and is on the ground for longer than 15 seconds, a medical crew will come onto the field to evaluate the player and assist him off the field. All right, 15 seconds on the ground, you take him off. Once the player is off the field, the player will be treated by the medical staff and will be required to remain off the field for 3 minutes. He won't be just waved on by the ref.
Did an American come up with this idea?
This is the you know, American Canadian League. Okay, it's you know.
All right. Well, yes. As long as it stays in the MLS, you do whatever you want.
Let's think.
I'm beyond caring now.
Okay. Does anyone else, Highly, your thoughts on this? The idea. Okay, let me just, in case it doesn't. The idea is Neymar gets hit, rolls on the floor for 15 seconds, wastes 30 seconds, 45 seconds off the clock, and nothing happens. He gets up, goes to the sideline, ref waves him on right away. This is the idea, that it would stop this type of time waste. I thought it was a pretty neat idea. 3 minutes is quite a bit of time, but I don't know if anyone has any thoughts about it.
Could be a good deterrent. I mean, you know, one of the things so being in Montreal, right, and I think Canada in general, people mostly pay attention to hockey from what I've what I've observed, at least here in Montreal, it's a very, very hot, very, very hockey heavy market. And one of the things that people always say that they don't like about soccer or football is they don't like watching the theatrics, right?
Exactly.
Like you used Neymar as the perfect example. And then someone like me, who's like an avid football fan, will say, well, sometimes, you know, it's part of the strategy, as shitty as it may look, or cheap
100%.
or whatever. But, you know, sometimes sorry for swearing, but, you know, like sometimes you can, you know, sometimes it's part of a strategy, like to buy some time or whatever. So I agree with you. I think in theory it could be a good idea. I'd like to see it in practice and see if it actually has any kind of, you know, any kind of positive effects. But my initial instinct is to say sure, why not?
Yeah. Hoff, any thoughts on that?
So I have a question, and I don't know. So when a guy goes down, who's starting the clock? Is it the fourth official?
No clue. Probably
Because I assume the head official is like looking somewhere else, and then he's like, okay, so 13, 14, he got up. Don't come on. Sorry.
Yeah.
It seems like there's some flaws in it. I get the idea of it. I just don't know how practical it's going to be in enforcement.
Right. Which will be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Because think about it, if you go down, if you try to, basically it happens all the time. You know, towards the end of the game, you get tripped, you go down, you pretend like your calf just exploded. You know, you get 30 seconds, they come on, spray you, 45 seconds, they take you off, and then you come right back on, right? It would basically be like, look, if you do that, you're off for 3 minutes. Boom. You know, none of that will happen in that league now. No one's gonna want to go down to 10 men for 3 minutes. Anyways, I don't know. And just quickly,
sorry. I mean, I know I said something right at the off, but I was kind of messing around and joking.
Okay.
On a more serious note, I could live with it at youth level, but not if you're a professional. You shouldn't need that. Just don't be a shitbag. It's quite simple, really.
No, I agree, but
if you're a professional,
I agree.
And it's another reason why the 90s was better, because there was less of that bullshit too.
Well, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is now. You know, people, you know, this tax evasion too. Their shit, you know, whatever. Like it's there's if there's loopholes, you go through them to win. You know,
yeah, winning. But you see that's when you start. How deep do you want to go? Because I mean, if it's not sporting, then you know what I mean. Like I don't want to be bringing something in that stops. You it's almost like a sin bin then, right? I can.
It's not a.
It almost is though,
and like for diving and for simulation, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean,
it's like it's the.
Yeah. If by bringing it in at youth level, it encourages kids to not do it later on in their career,
right? Yeah.
And fine, but I would not want to bring that in and have that song and dance every few minutes in a professional football match. Absolutely. I just wouldn't want it, and it takes longer than 15 seconds to get somebody onto a stretcher, get them off the pitch. Like, you're still going to have the same amount of stoppage time, in my opinion.
Well, I think that's the idea, is that it would be 3 minutes on top of that. Anyways, yeah, it's an interesting thought. And the other rule change that they added, which I'll just mention, and we got to move on. Under the new red card suspension rule, if a player receives a red card, that player will serve the resulting 1-game suspension against the same team he received the red card against. So if Scott McTominay takes out Erling Haaland, McTominay doesn't miss the next game, and he gets a red card. McTominay doesn't miss the next game. He will miss the next game against Man City. So it's more. So Man City is getting the benefit of, you know, being penalized by by that, which is an interesting idea. It makes a little more sense in my opinion.
Why this fascination with changing the rules? Can I ask what that is?
To improve the game. That's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't see how that red card one you just said there improves the game in any way whatsoever.
Because if McTominay tries to take out Haaland, it could be deemed as a attack on, you know, on a Man City player. And now Man City will, instead of Man City just being an innocent bystander when McTominay serves a 3-match suspension, next 3 times they play Manchester United, McTominay won't be on the team sheet. It's more, it's a fair penalty.
But then it brings up, okay, what if they have a massive game against, let's say United are playing against City, McTominay, you have a massive game against, I don't know, Barcelona in the Champions League 2 days later or something. Like I know suspension, I think suspension should count across all competitions, because I think if you get sent off, like you should miss the next game. You know what I mean? No matter what it is, in my opinion, it should be the next 1 game if it's a 2 yellows, 3 games if it's a straight red. I'm okay with those rules. I don't know. I'm just not a massive fan of change. I'm not a massive fan of changing the rules.
Absolutely.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm just not, man. I like traditional football, man.
If they didn't change it, I wouldn't have a problem with it either. But I think it's pretty. I think it's pretty neat. You know, I think it's like Man City gets. It's more appropriate to the opponent now, right? Man City will get a benefit because of a dirty foul, you know, instead of a dirty foul being a benefit to the next opponent that follows Man City. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a bit more fair. That does make sense. It's like if someone hits you, get hit by a car, like that guy can't that guy just, you know, I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like it's more a direct. Like, say you get hit by a car and then you miss a day of work or something, right? It doesn't do that guy. It doesn't
drive your car into me tomorrow.
It doesn't do the driver being like missing his next day of work doesn't do you any benefit. But say his next game, you know, the next time, I don't know, like he works, he has to give his wage to you. That's more of a fair benefit to you. You know, that's, I think.
Yeah, directly.
That's a horrible example. It's direct to you.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. He's paying the price directly to me, not to the other drivers on the road.
They're eliminating
insurance premiums.
You know? It's like,
so his insurance premium increase would go to me, not to the rest of the population.
Right?
Yeah,
it'd be more direct.
Is playing against 10 men not enough advantage?
I mean, if it happens in the 91st minute or something, you know, someone's just going for a dirty tackle, you know, at the end of the game, you know, someone's showboating and then someone goes in for a crazy tackle, gets a red card, whatever, you know.
Okay.
Anyhow, all right.
This has been good, Carl. Good topics, because it's really got the juices flowing tonight. I like it.
Yeah, you know, we got some other ones, and I think I know your trigger now, so I'll be sure to kind of find those. You know,
change.
Yeah, change. Do not change anything. I just like football how it is.
All right, let's get going though. We got how many teams can you name? This week is the legendary, recently featured in the Chelsea. Oh shit! Okay, I gave away one of them. Recently featured in the Chelsea Legends, we have Mr. Didier Drogba. Drogba. How many teams can you name?
I gotta get rid of Drogba. It's Didier Drogba.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 clubs. 12 clubs. I don't think he's begun management. I didn't see management on his.
I don't think he's managed.
Yeah. So we'll do a quick 1 minute 30. You know, I always forget to mention at the beginning of the stream while you guys are thinking, guys. If you're watching on YouTube and everyone in Twitch, thank you guys so much for being here. Please follow our guests. They're right there on the chat right there. If you're watching on YouTube, they're in the description. Follow them on Twitter. Their Twitter has the links to all of their other social media platforms, streams, YouTube channels. Give them a follow, and kind of, you know, we're kind of building a community. Let's build it together. Yeah, you know, I need a Don King. We need Don King out here. Only on Twitch. That was my Don King. Only on Twitch. Unbelievable. Cards are fine the way they are. They stay in the league. Each competition tracks down each of their own. Hey, Diogo, thank you for the subscription, man. Appreciate it. Welcome in, bro. 6 months in a row. Thank you, man. Okay, guys, do we have a first wager on Didier Drogba? Let's go.
I need another 30 seconds.
Okay, maybe let's start with Highly. Do you have a wager?
So just to be clear, I just say how many teams I can name.
How many teams you can name that he's played for? And then Hoff is going to try to up you.
I'm going to say 3.
Okay, we have a 3 on the board. Hoff, can you do better than 3?
I'll go 4.
He's got 4. Milo, need a couple more seconds?
Not including Chelsea, you said, right?
No, you can include Chelsea. You can include Chelsea. I gave that one away,
Freebie.
though. Yeah, it's a freebie. Oh, and
Okay.
national team, because I got pictures of him in the national team.
We can include that or no?
You can don't include national team. Sorry.
Okay. So don't include that and don't include Chelsea.
No, you can include Chelsea. You can end.
Okay.
Chelsea counts.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Sorry. How many are you going for, Hoff?
He's got 4.
I said 4 to start.
I'll go 5.
Oh. Highly. Do you want
I'm
to
down
push
to
him?
2.
Okay. Oh no. Okay. Wait, did I say? Okay, sorry. I don't know. Sorry with the Chelsea thing. Sorry. Guys, do we have any
the issue?
Do we have any numbers in chat? I see a 4 in chat. That's all I see so far. I need numbers. No, don't give me clubs.
5 was our last one.
5 was the last one.
I can't do more than 5, so that's me.
Do you have 6,
I'll go-
Hoff?
I do.
Oh. All right, Hoff. 6 it is.
Okay, so freebie Chelsea.
Chelsea. Whoa. Chelsea. 2 stints
Marseille.
at Chelsea. Marseille. Correct.
Montreal.
Montreal Impact. How do you say impact in French? All right, there we go. Yes, Montreal is correct.
Impact.
Impact.
He was at Galatasaray.
Galatasaray is also correct.
He played in the USL at Phoenix.
He played for the Phoenix Rising.
I would never have got that.
True. The
And
Phoenix
he
Rising.
played in China for Shanghai.
He played for Shanghai Shenhua. Correct.
Benoit, yeah.
I think that's it. You get it, right?
That's it. He did, yeah.
Well done, Hoff.
3, 4, 5, 6. Okay.
Back to back.
I had
Back-to-back
Le
wins
Mans
for
written
Hoff.
down too. I know he played there for a while.
Back-to-back
For good
wins.
measure.
Well done. Guys, get your on-screen interactive things ready for the quiz coming up. Hoff, well done.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm gonna
Yeah, that's
refresh the
impressive.
stream.
well done, Hoff.
So
Well done.
I didn't
Other-
have Phoenix, but I had the others that you mentioned.
We'll start before Marseille. He was at Guingamp. I'm gonna do a French accents now. Guingamp. And he finished his youth career and began his senior career at Le Mans. Le Mans. And before Le Mans, he was at Levallois.
Is that what?
Levallois.
Liverwurst?
Levallois.
Levallois.
Levallois. There we go. Levallois. And before Levallois, he was at Vaughan. Vaughan. I think that was good. Vaughan is good, right? Right. Con. Vaughan. Right? Yeah, maybe. Vannes. And before that, he was at Abbeville. And before that, he was at Tourcoing. Tourcoing. I have no idea where that is. Tourcoing.
That's like youth. Yeah, that's his youth
Those
career.
are youth spots.
Yeah.
Youth spots.
You
Nice,
did pretty decent, I will say.
Pretty good, right?
With the French. Yeah.
What was it, Milo? Levallois.
I would say like Levallois, but who knows?
Levallois.
I mean, I do speak French, guys. If you
Oh,
want,
you-
I can.
All right, Haley, go for it.
Yeah, like I'm sitting
I
here
took it
going
off
like,
the
okay,
screen.
no, it's fine. Yeah, Levallois. That's right.
Levallois.
That's you got it right. The two
Okay.
L's usually they can make a Y, like in Spanish. But anyway, just
Okay. Guys, get ready for the quiz. Are we all ready for the quiz?
I think so.
It's an on-screen thing. You know, you click buttons. We have 8 questions today. 8 questions today. You know, I tried to get a couple questions from the 90s. Well, I think there's only one question from the 90s, to be honest. Actually, technically two. But let's get started. We have 25 seconds on the clock. We're not doing any of this. How many letters are in Pep Guardiola's a fraud anymore? You know. All right, here we go. First question: who scored the most goals in the 95-96 season, in the Premier League season? Alan Shearer, Les Ferdinand, Robbie Fowler, or Dwight York? Who scored the most goals in the 95-96 season? Maybe it's Le Ferdinand. Le Ferdinand.
No, it's definitely Les.
Okay.
Le, that's funny.
Like Les Miserables.
It definitely
right.
wasn't. He wasn't French at all.
Alrighty, guys, you have 3 accounts sniping on this quiz. Oh my god.
The least
God.
surprising thing I've heard or read tonight.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, all right, here we go. Next answer is Alan Shearer. Ooh, a couple of people missed that one. Almost about a 50% success rate on that question there. You know, and remember, guys, winner gets a slideshow on the screen. You can join at any time. There we go. Next question is: who scored the most goals in the 2005-2006 Premier League season? 10 years later, was it Darren Bent, Wayne Rooney, Thierry Henry, or Ruud van Nistelrooy? Thierry Henry, Ruud, Thierry Henry, how do you say Thierry? Thierry. Okay.
Thierry Henry.
Henry. Dude, the phlegm. I played in 11-11 league in Europe, and they had a lot of French guys, and they were trying to get me to say like Stade de Gerland, you know, like Stade de Gerland, Gerland. That's how you say it. But all right, the answer is Thierry Henry. Ooh,
Damn.
almost a 50-50 there, guys. Almost a 50-50 there. These guys were just behind Thierry Henry. The other 3 guys. I think Darren Bent was second. I think it might have been at Tottenham at the time. All right, next question.
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Who scored in 10 years later, 2015-2016 season? Jamie Vardy, Sergio Aguero, Romelu Lukaku, or Harry Kane? And these are the top scorers that season. 2015-2016. Who scored the most goals? So we've spanned 2 decades now. Who scored the most goals? Who's gonna get the slideshow? It has to be Leicester won it that year. That is the year they won it, huh? The answer: Harry Kane. Only 2 got it. These are EPL top scorers, yes. All right, next question. Now we're off the goals now. Which player has won the FA Cup in 3 different decades? Nicolas Anelka, Patrick Vieira, Ashley Cole, or Matthew Upson? Nicolas Anelka, Patrick Vieira, Ashley Cole, or Matthew Upson? 3 different decades. Office self-sniping. All right. The answer is... Patrick Vieira. Patrick Vieira. I believe he won it. Yeah, Patrick Vieira. I don't have the facts on this, but he did win it in 3 different decades. We'll have to. Okay, we'll check this one. Okay, let's look at the scores at this point. Let's just quickly look at the scores.
Like as a player.
Oh boy.
That can't be right.
I think he won it as a manager as well. Did he win it as a manager? I think he won it with City. Did he not?
Oh, so okay. I wouldn't have even factored in management in that question, but that's fine.
Milo's in second, Bottle Job's in first, contestant 11 and 18, third and fourth, Cash fifth, Greg 6th, Way Red 7th, contestant 17. Then we got Highly, Dove, and HoffSpur in the relegation battle. All right, next question. Next question. Since 1995, how many players have won the Ballon d'Or that never played for Real Madrid or Barcelona?
Oh, wow.
That never played for Real Madrid or Barcelona. How many players won the Ballon d'Or? I wish I could. I can only give a certain. I have to give the same amount of time for each question. I would like to give more time for some of these questions, but they don't allow it. So the correct answer is 4.
Oh.
The correct answer is 4.
I should have bet more points. Damn it.
Yeah. So there. Okay. I've deleted my list on my notes. Sheva, Nedved.
Nedved.
Dortmund Sommer, I think. No. What's his name? Dortmund fellow, and I believe George Weah. Cannavaro played for Madrid.
Yeah.
Cannavaro played for Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
I think George Weah. Yeah. All right. 2 more questions. The next question. Playboy Cardi currently follows 0 people on IG, on Instagram. At one point, he followed 2 people. Who was one of them? Was it Messi, Dele Alli, Neymar, or Paul Pogba?
Matthias man
Sommer
here wants to know who the fuck Playboy Cardi is.
He's a rapper. Who did he follow? At one point, he followed. This is for the culture, guys. This is pop culture. This is pop culture, guys. I'm sorry. This is pop culture. You know, we span all genres here on the show.
Playboy Cardi.
Who did he follow? If you look at the options, who do you think it would be?
I know, actually. I meant to
The
guess.
answer is Paul Pogba. The answer is Paul Pogba.
I should have guessed Pogba.
Yeah, Paul Pogba.
Someone did guess Deli. Nice.
All right, and second to last question we have. I don't even remember what it was. Which country has lost the most games in the World Cup? Is it England, Belgium, Mexico, or the USA? Which team has lost the most games in the World Cup? They have qualified for the World Cup 16 times, this team. That's a little hint. Which team has lost the most games in the World Cup? And the answer is, it is Mexico. It is Mexico.
Oh.
They've qualified for so many. Yeah, they have. They have. It is Mexico. Almost split there. All right, and the final question. Let's take a look at the leaderboard here, so you guys can know what's going on before we get into it. Bottle Jobs and who's contestant 18? You need to enable your name, but we'll believe whoever it is. And contestant 18. Iran Sports and Bottle Job are all in the running here. It's
Top
very
score.
tight. Milo's right there. You know, he could get in. He's got to go for it. He's got to go for this one.
Too safe in the
He's
last
got-
3.
He's got to go for this one. He's in with the shout. You know, depending on what happens with the others. I mean, if Bottle doesn't answer, you can't catch him. But contestant 18 and Iran Sports could catch him. Anyways, here we go. The final question. I can't remember what it is. I'd like to give it to you guys before. I don't remember what it is. Sorry. Okay, here we go. The final question is: who has won back-to-back Premier League medals without playing a single minute? Who has won back-to-back Premier League medals without playing a single minute? Claudio Bravo, Willy Caballero, Ben Foster, or Mark Schwarzer?
It went
Claudio
straight
Bravo.
to an ad.
Oh, it did?
Oh no! It went to
Oh,
an ad.
no.
Yes, come back.
Oh, I did not do that. I did not plan that.
30-second ad.
I didn't plan that.
I'm
I did
gonna
not
do to
plan
you
that.
What people do to me in my stream. I'm gonna put scam in the chat.
That's just horrible timing. That's horrible timing.
That's unlucky.
Oh my god.
No, dude, that sucks. Hey, you know, it sucks. It does suck.
Yeah.
But this is like the most powerful ad of all time now. Anyways, there we go. I wonder if it's like a really good ad too. What's the ad of? It's probably different for
Paramount.
Probably messy eating
Plus.
potato chips.
Lay's sponsorship. All right, and the answer is Mark Schwarzer. Ooh, many people missed this one. This could change. Oh, and Bottle would have picked Caballero. Oh, I think he was in the lead. All right, the
picked
final
Caballero.
results. The final results. Bottle keeps the lead. Hey,
No.
Bottle, you're welcome for the ad. You're welcome for the
Yeah,
ad.
the ad paid off, Bottle.
Wow, Bottle. That's 2 wins for Bottle.
I went all in on Caballero.
Held all of you up. You're welcome.
But well done to everyone. That was a good competitive one. You got scammed, subscribe to the channel, whatever. Okay. Did not mean to do that. Okay. But well done, Bottle. We can add. You already have an existing slideshow folder. We'll add to that for the next one. Oh wait, no worse this week. Guys, how's your week? What's coming up on streams in life? The best of. Let's start with what's coming up on stream. You guys planning on streaming this week? YouTube, anything? Highly, why don't you get started?
I am definitely going to be doing a eFootball review because it's been 3 months, right? Well, on the 14th, It's going to be 3 months since it came out. I am not a happy customer. And yeah, the streams, I'm trying to set a schedule. It's probably going to be some more eFootball, honestly. But no, besides that, I mean, I'm actually looking to buy a place, so that's
nice,
the
man.
highlight of my week. Yeah, trying to go through the waves in this godforsaken market. So wish me luck,
Very
guys.
nice.
Yeah, good luck, man. Go for it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Hoff, how's the fantasy going? Did that kick off yet?
We started our draft Saturday. We're moving pretty well. Pretty good clip. Milo is on the clock as we speak.
I want to see what's going on in the league.
To reinforce his band of Arsenal players.
No, my last 2 picks were not Arsenal players.
Yeah,
No, but the first 3 were.
Oh, we're gonna have to get an update on the what's going on in the league on the show then.
Yeah, I can do
Yeah.
that for sure.
Yeah.
And I can share the draft board in the Discord as well.
Okay, cool. Nice.
Yeah, but that started. I won't say I'm an unhappy customer like Highly. I'm trying to beat myself up into playing eFootball, and I can't bring myself to do it right now. I just have zero interest in playing it.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's hard. I want to play it. I want to enjoy it because I need to play some kind of simulation game like that. And it doesn't have to be like super like sweaty competitive, but I want like maybe like a career mode or something, which maybe when that comes out, that'll change my view. But I'm just trying to convince myself that it'll be fun, and I know that I'll be lying, so I'll probably have to be drunk while I'm doing it. So that'll be a hell of a stream.
I'm in. We'll play the
Excellent.
eFootball drinking game. I'll introduce everybody to that.
Yes, I like it.
Once we get some co-op and some team play, I think hopefully it'll be it'll open up other avenues for enjoyment in that game there.
Yeah.
Yep. Agreed.
Milo, how's your week looking?
Yeah, week's looking good, man. We had a tough race yesterday for round 1.
Oh yeah.
Of the championship, but I mean that's racing, right? It happens. So what do we got coming up this week? I think tomorrow night I'll do my next F1 race. So we're going to Australia tomorrow. I've been doing the My Team mode in with no assists, 100% race distance. So I've been doing like the full-on race basically in VR. I've got SimHub working now, so the telemetry and stuff can be on screen for people, because you obviously can't see the in-game stuff because I'm looking around.
Right.
I am using motion smoothing, so it's not too bad to watch, so I've been told. So yeah, I think I'll do that tomorrow. Probably some eFootball later in the week, and then at the weekend will be Red Dead 2 Part 11, and then the next race for ACC on Sunday, which will be at Suzuka. So busy week.
Do we have a dad joke this week?
Yeah, let me get it.
But while you're getting that, any quote of the week, Highly? You got any?
Man,
any random?
I had, yes, I took a picture because I saw it and I was like, wow, this is for all the coffee drinkers. Here it is.
Okay.
Coffee is a great power in my life. It chases away sleep, and it gives us the capacity to engage a little longer in the exercise of our intellects. Honoré de Balzac, 1830.
Whoa. Wow.
For the coffee addicts.
Give me that one more time. Hold on.
Sure. Coffee is a great power in my life. It chases away sleep, and it gives us the capacity to engage a little longer in the exercise of our intellects.
Wow.
Deep.
Right?
Yeah, that's
All right.
You guys want to hear it in French? I'm just kidding.
I feel like I want yeah, café.
Yeah, that's right.
Café.
Le café. That's right.
Le café.
I'm impressed, bro.
Bonsoir, mon ami.
Oh man, come to Montreal and talk like that to the ladies? Forget it, bro. It's
over.
Game over.
Hoff, you got a quote? Good quote.
I do. I guess I'm going to say, I was just thinking about it. I'm going to say it kind of fits in with our discussion earlier about how players could be successful in different eras. It's talent may get you on the pitch, but it's the effort and attitude that will keep you there. And that is Alex Morgan.
Alex Morgan. Amazing. Just in all ways.
Yes.
And Milo, the quote of the week, the classic dad joke. What is it?
Yeah, I got it, man. I got it.
Here we go.
So I just want to let you guys know, because people ask me, how was my childhood? I had a really happy childhood. My dad used to put me in tires and roll me down hills. Those were good years.
Jeez. I'll be honest. As a kid, I did go in tires and roll down hills. I'm serious. We had at our school, we had these massive monster truck tires, and we would get inside of them and roll down and bang into the fence at the bottom. Maybe that. I'm dead serious.
This explains the whole Tin Hack thing that's going on right now.
And
That makes sense.
and yeah, that's just how it was, man. That's how it was. It's good times. All right, guys. Well, anything else you want to add?
I saw Hoff enjoyed it. It's all
Yeah,
good.
that was good.
Oh, I need to ask your opinion, Cart.
Sure.
If you were me right now, I need to pick my third forward for my squad. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
My options that it's longevity. Remember, this is a dynasty, so just picking a 30-year-old might not be the way forward. So
Okay.
my two picks, I'm not going to list them all. It's between Ollie Watkins or Julian Alvarez from Man City. Who would you pick?
Oh, for fantasy?
Yeah. Out of those two, Alvarez might not play every week. Watkins will play every week, might not be as prolific. Like, which way would you go?
Oof.
I mean, extreme, obviously. No.
I feel like I'd have to go with the starter. And
You would, yeah?
Villa's made some good moves. I feel like Ollie Watkins would be a safer bet.
Yeah, I was leaning Watkins.
I think it'd be a safer bet.
But in 3 years, Alvarez might be
Oh,
the guy.
that's right.
Because it's a dynasty.
The
so-
Dynasty League.
But it might be a little early to take him if you're looking strictly at where you're drafting. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not trying to talk you out of it or anything.
No, I'm gonna go Watkins with this pick, and I was leaning that way anyway. I'll go Watkins, and we'll see if Alvarez is there later on when I need spare players.
Yeah. Yeah, he's.
I'd
kinda
like to
low
see how
down
this
the
pans
list.
out. I want to see that. I'm interested in seeing everyone's teams.
Oh, it
I
says
want
the draft
to
room
be a
is
commentator. You
stocked.
know, I don't want to be in it.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too, to be honest.
Sounds
So,
fun.
Hoff, do you want to present it to him once the teams are filled out?
Yeah. Yeah, I can share it once we're done.
Sounds good.
Okay, it wouldn't let.
Alrighty, guys. Well, we'll wrap it up now. Thank you guys so much for joining. As always, you guys make the show go. I just try to, push it along, and without you guys, it doesn't really work. Chat, thank you so much for everything. We'll wrap it up there. We'll see you next week. Peace and love, and let's go Frankie De Jong. Frankie De Jong all the way. There we go.
God, thanks for having us, man.
Yep.
Appreciate it, bro.
Yes,
Yeah,
always
thanks,
fun. Always
man.
fun.
Let's change next week. I need to lower my blood pressure.
More change.
Cheers, fellas.
More change.
Good night. Good night.
It's the Monday Weekend Wrap Up. It's the Monday Weekend Wrap Up. It's the Monday Weekend Wrap